All look amazing. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much to Upscale Magazine. I'm Maria Moore from Magic 107.5, 97.5, and I am super excited to have a conversation with a beautiful woman. Y'all give it up for Miss Vivian Green.
How's everybody? Good. Everybody does look very beautiful, like Maria said.
Yes, and you look beautiful.
Thank you. I tried. I don't know.
Yes. BGVI, I don't know. Of course, Magic 107.5. We love that single. Always get a lot of phone calls about it. How does it feel, new album?
I'm excited. This will be the shortest time I've ever had in between albums, which is really great for me because when you let too much time go by, it gets like you're almost starting over from scratch. And yeah, so I'm excited that I'm putting something out kind of right after the last album. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about a little bit of time between albums. You have just been putting out a whole lot of bangers, and I really, really love the connection between you and Quan Man. Y'all give it up for Quan Man, who is here as well. So signed to his label back in 2014.
Yeah, or 2015. Yeah,
2015. And y'all just got that whole Quincy Michael Jackson thing going on. What has been the difference working with Quan Man?
Oh, it's been so different. He's such a different producer than anyone else I've ever worked with before. And that's not to say anything bad about them. He just has a different approach, I think, because he was an artist. He has an understanding for what he feels is a hit or is going to work for radio more than some of my more musician-based producers did. He loves hip-hop. So he's never going to make something that's too slow or too boring, I guess. I don't know. And a lot of my music has been slow. I won't say my own music has been boring, but it has been very slow. So he wanted to just give it a whole different energy than anything I've had before. And I think he's really done that. And with this album, VG6, I think we've just taken what we started and just kind of perfected it. I just think it's even better than the last project. We worked really, really hard on it, and we like fought every day. And yeah, we had to put on boxing gloves and all that. But
don't make me grab a third microphone and bring Quan Man up here.
You can. He loves the song. He would love it. But
man.
Yeah, but yeah, the end result, I'm really happy with it, and I hope people like it.
Yeah. You know, one of my favorite records of yours, you talk about slow, is Emotional Roller Coaster. Yes. Are there some sisters in here going through some things? Y'all clapping about to have a Holy Ghost party. Like, girl, let me tell you about this ride. One of the things that a line in the song that stands out is when you talk about you woke up and you ran your 3 miles, and obviously you take very good care of yourself. What is your lifestyle regimen in terms of dieting and exercise?
Oh my God, I don't even want to say because I don't want anybody here to be mad at me.
Oh no, say it,
There's a lot of things that I don't do. Yeah. And I think after a while, because I mean, I've had this experience before of telling people what I do and what I don't do, and it's like, all right, whatever. I don't eat like, let's just say my diet, it's strict, but I've been doing it for a long time and I'm just used to it. I drink a lot of water. I don't eat anything deep fried, like at all. I don't eat beef. I don't eat pork. I don't eat shellfish. I only eat salmon, tuna, flounder, sometimes, not every day. I eat a lot of green vegetables, a lot of dark green things, spinach, kale, broccoli, chard, collards. I put them in smoothies. All that dark green leaves are really good for you. I don't know if y'all know, but not cooked to death either. Still have some life in them. It's really, really good for you. I do a smoothie every morning for breakfast. I exercise every day. I don't drink soda. See, you guys are tired of me already? I don't drink soda. I don't drink like any sugary drinks like that. So like, lemonade, no, it's just water.
Look, they like, we good, Vivian, we good.
That's why I said I didn't want to say anything. But my mom, she was always very, very, very health food and health conscious since I was a little girl. So I just remember going to health food stores with her, like my whole life as a little girl. So she always pushed all of my brothers and sisters and I to eat right and things like that. So it's just kind of how I was raised a bit. Yeah. So yeah, I don't try to push what I do on anyone else or anything like that.
Well, you know what?
You won't know unless
yeah.
you ask me. I will never say,
Yeah,
hey, you shouldn't be doing that. I don't do that, because that's annoying.
I'm sure everyone in the room can appreciate anything coming from a positive space that's empowering to you, and we all have different things that make us feel empowered. So we appreciate you sharing that. Now, you talked about your mom and you know, the ideals that she gave you. Your mother as well. I'm a mom. I have 4 kids.
Oh, wow,
yeah,
you look amazing.
Yeah, I have 4 kids, and
that's incredible.
And one of my children, he has autism. He has special needs, and I know that you and I
know
have a
that.
connection there as well. And you also, in addition to doing music, you have things that you're doing in terms of community outreach, things that benefit parents of children who have kids with special needs. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my son Jordan, he's 13 and he's amazing. He was born with an unknown syndrome, so I don't know, you know, the doctors have never diagnosed exactly what happened. It affects his bones, though. His index finger and his thumb share the same bone, so he doesn't have opposition in his hands. So it took him a really long time to learn how to do most things. But once he gets it, he's like off to the races. They didn't know what his development would be. It was like you just have to keep coming to all of these follow-up appointments and keep seeing all these specialists, and we'll just see what happens. So that's kind of like in his younger years, and why I had so much time in between my albums is because I was really focused on raising him, this kid with this undiagnosed syndrome, and I just wanted to do everything as perfect as possible so that I was helping, you know, to heal him. And yeah, I don't want to cry, but he's just my biggest blessing ever. Like, he's such a highly functional child. He's so smart. He's so funny. He loves math. He loves to solve two-sided equations. He's just like a regular kid in so many ways, but he is different. And I've told him his whole life about that. I told him how many people in the world would see him and how he can't have any hatred in his heart for the way that people might stare at him in public or how he's treated. So we've had these conversations ever since he's been able to understand. And I shot a PSA with Derek Blanks here in Atlanta. It's just about special needs awareness and how there are 57 million people in the United States that suffer from a special need or disability. That's 19% of the population. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. And I don't think that socially we're taught, like in preschool or kindergarten, how to deal with people who, that 19%, when you approach them in public, you know, and when you come across them in public. And I just feel, just from being his mother all this time, and you, I'm sure you know, people's reactions are just like, no one taught you better than that. So my PSA is to bring awareness to that and to encourage mothers and teachers in schools that at a young age teach your children how to treat everyone, because there's a lot of people who are different from them, and when they see them, it shouldn't be this raw reaction that most kids have, and it's innocent, but they only have it because they weren't taught to have a different one. So, yeah. And I see how my son has been affected by that. You know, he's very, very strong, but, you know, it still hurts him. So, yeah, I just want to make the world a bit nicer for him to live in. So.
Yeah, and
Oh, thank you. I don't know if there's a true method to our madness besides that we want it to be as good as it can possibly be. The music doesn't always come first. You know, sometimes the topic or song idea comes first, and I'll tell him, and then, you know, so it can come to life in any way. But it's important that he and I are on the same page, which we're often not. So it's kind of hard to actually make an entire song that we're both happy with because we're so different. So it's really this like great challenge. I know if we both like it, then it has to be good. Because we're so opposite. So I think that's the method to our madness. Quan Man is actually a very good songwriter as well, and like cadence writer. Like if he doesn't like, he might like my words, but he may not like the way that I'm saying them, or he may not like the flow of it over the beat. So he'll just do another flow and change. I'm like, oh, that is better. So let me try that. So we're definitely open to each other's ideas, and he's very, very much a part of my writing process, where usually it's like I get a track, I write to it, I record it, and that's kind of it. And he's like, he has so much input. And we both do as well. Like if he does something musically that I don't like, I'll say, okay, I don't like that right there, make that different, and he'll do it. So I think it's great that we're really different, but we're both open to each other's ideas because we do respect one another creatively. So yeah, so a lot of ups and downs, but in the end, it's a positive thing.
You talked about topic, and you know something that we cannot deny is what's happening in our country right now. Very, very serious things in terms of racial divide, and folks not really being happy with who's in office. As a person who has influence, as a person who can use her voice to influence folks, what is your form of protest, your form of taking action and making folks aware and inspiring people to move towards change?
That's such an interesting question. I've been very quiet, honestly, up until now. I kind of I've kept my political views to myself, and my opinions on social issues. I've kind of been quiet about it. But there's a first time for everything. So there is a song on this album, it's called See the Light, that kind of expresses how I feel about everything going on. I do use my social media platform to give my opinions about all things going on in the world. Now, I don't talk about them, so it's really, it's a weird thing for me because that's all I do when I have time off or in the hotel. I have the news on like the entire time. I'm reading different outlets online. That's all I do. So there's a lot that I have to say. I just haven't said it because I don't want to offend anyone. But it's an interesting. You have to find your balance as a creative person. Yeah. How far do you want to go with sharing, your views? But like I said, now is the time for me to finally start doing that, and I started with VG6. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, that is a very interesting perspective because I think, and just for a lot of folks in the room who may be frustrated, and our civil rights leaders in the past, rest in peace to Dick Gregory, who have been just amazing examples for us. Sometimes your protest is just love, positive emotions, and just making people around you feel good. And one thing that I love about you and Quan Man, your connection, I just feel as soon as a record comes on, it just feels good. You don't even know what the song is about. And I think that's what music is supposed to do, not necessarily sound good, but feel good. So you're definitely doing that with VG6. So much love and continued success.